So I've been testing out the Blonde BL3s, and I find that the nozzle is a little bit short. So whilst I can push the earphones all the way into my ears, they do start to push out, and I just think that they kind of need a bit of a deeper insertion than that. And anyway, I've decided to pick up some tips off of AliExpress. These are the nice HCK tips. I got, 8 different pairs of them in black and blue. I have been using the tin hi-fi tips on the Blondes up until this point, and they work just nicely. But I thought I wanted to try out some different tips. And I've also got another tip for the tips as well, specifically for the Blondes. So right here, I've got 3 different tips. So we've got the tin hi-fi tip in the blue. I've got the nice HCK tip here. And I've also got a Comply foam T400. I think that's a T400 anyway. And straight off the bat, the nice HCK is a lot stickier. It's a lot tackier straight out of the box. Whereas the tin hi-fi tip is kind of smooth. So I don't think this one has the same sort of grip as the nice HCK. Of course, the Comply tips, they're not sticky, and they're quite firm, actually, until they warm up because they're heat activated. Once they warm up, they get really soft and really sticky. Something I noticed straight away is I put on the tin hi-fi tip and it pushed all the way onto the nozzle, all the way down to the body of the IEM, which gave you the most shallow insertion depth possible. Now, I didn't notice that with the Comply foam tip. Actually, it just sort of it went on to the groove and then it stopped. But they were really difficult to get back off again. But the nice HCK ones, they go on down to the groove and you can't really push them on past that. But after pushing them in and out of my ears a few times, they did push all the way up to the body of the IEM. So I've come up with a solution. This is not ideal because this is all I had in the house. And I've got some little silicone washers. I think they are like little O-ring sort of things. They're not the right diameter. They're not the right internal diameter. So they do require a bit of a stretch around the nozzle. But let's take a look. Here I have this little O-ring at the base of the nozzle, and I have the tip on over the top of that. I could probably do a better job with a different size O-ring, but this seems to do the trick. I've not done any proper listening tests with this in this configuration yet. I'm really just testing it out for monitoring right now. But this does seem to fix one of the more obvious weak points that I've noticed with the Blondes already, and I'll talk about that in the full review of these. But anyway, I thought I would mention this little tip, and I'll also leave a link in the description for these nice HCK tips for the store that I got them from on AliExpress. Moving on to NAMM news then, there's quite a lot that's been going on. First up, Universal Audio have announced Luna recording system. There's not a lot of information on this website about it, but there's a video about it. Basically, it's a DAW, a digital audio workstation. So for all you musicians out there, if you're looking for a new DAW, then you might be excited about this. It will be free for users of the UAD interfaces. So that's a plus. If you have a UAD interface already, then, I mean, why not try it, right? Anyway, I'm sure there's more room in the industry for another DAW, and it remains to be seen whether this one turns out to be any good, so we'll keep our eyes on that. So Audient have announced their Evo interface, the idea being that this is a good interface for beginners because it eases them into it. If you're not familiar with using an audio interface and you're not sure about setting the gain and how it works, this kind of simplifies it from the looks of it. It has an automatic gain feature which sets the gain for you, so you don't have to worry about clipping or anything like that. It's just going to manage it for you. So it's perfect for people maybe just starting out doing podcasts or students or whatever, people who are just starting to record audio and they need something just to ease them in. Hopefully you don't have to have the automatic gain on all the time and it's just an optional feature for people who are new, in which case this is a really good way to introduce people to recording audio for the first time. There's going to be 2 in the range, a 2-in, 2-out and a 4-in, 4-out interface, the Evo 4 and the Evo 8. I'm not sure what the pricing of these is going to be. Hopefully, considering they're targeting ease of use, they're not going to be too expensive. And speaking of not too expensive, this is the Apogee Symphony desktop audio interface. And wow, it looks great. But holy hell, look at that price tag. Nope. Staying on audio interfaces, this one's really exciting. This is the PreSonus IO Station 24C. And it is not just an audio interface, but a DAW controller as well. So if you do a lot of work in music production software, this has all of your transport controls on the interface, as well as having a motorized fader and all the usual features that you'd expect to see in an audio interface. Connectivity with USB-C, it's a 2-in, 2-out interface. Now, I don't know if there's any other products like this that exist. I'm not aware of them, but it's amazing that no one's thought about this until now, put it that way. This looks like an absolutely fantastic idea, particularly for bedroom studios, home studios and whatnot, where you're not going to have big, expensive consoles. Looks fantastic. Again, not too sure what the price is going to be for this, but hopefully it's not too expensive. I'd imagine it's a fair bit more expensive than your average audio interface, but we'll find out. Staying on audio interfaces, IK Multimedia have announced the AXIO Solo, which is a smaller, more cut-down version of their other AXIO, which is a dedicated guitar recording interface. And it looks like it's going to come in at around about 305 euros, including the VAT. And if you're dedicated to DIing with your guitar, this looks like the perfect tool for you. Next up, Mackie announced a whole bunch of stuff, including some IEMs and audio recording bundles. So they've released a few different bundles. So you've got the studio bundle, which includes a pair of monitors, headphones, the Mackie Big Knob audio interface, couple of mics and cables and stuff. This looks like a nice little collection. Looks like they've updated their studio monitor line as well from this picture. I don't know how long ago they did that, but then they have the producer bundle, which is a more regular audio interface with some mics and a pair of headphones. Then they have a live bundle, which is a mini mixer with some headphones and a couple of mics. And then they have a creator bundle, which looks to be more aimed at maybe YouTubers and podcasters, where you have a USB, I think this is a USB mic. Yeah. So they have a USB mic, a pair of studio monitors and some headphones. So it seems with these bundles, they're going hard at the creator space, which is really fantastic. I'd like to see more things like this coming from audio companies. You know, getting into creating stuff and YouTube and making your own music at home has never been easier. So I'd like to see a lot more stuff like this from many other companies, not just Mackie. And finally, the last thing I really wanted to talk about, and probably the most exciting thing of all of this, is Austrian Audio are finally releasing a pair of headphones. In fact, not just one pair of headphones, but two. And if you don't know who Austrian Audio are, they are a bunch of ex-AKG engineers who started up their own company in Vienna. They've been making a whole bunch of really impressive looking microphones, and now they're releasing two different pairs of headphones which look really fantastic, and I can't wait to get my hands on these. We've got the Hi X55 and the Hi X50. The Hi X50 is an on-ear pair, and I'm not going to pay too much attention to those right now. I'm not a big fan of on-ears anyway. But let's take a look at the Hi X55s. So they're an over-ear monitoring or professional headphone. Austrian Audio envisioned it wherever you need to use a pair of headphones for monitoring or tracking or whatever. These will be perfect. And they even suggest it for light bedroom mixing. They'll be all right for that sort of thing as well. Although no professional really mixes on headphones. So anyway, we have a mix of metal and plastic with metal in all the most important places. So we've got metal hinges and a metal headband, a few little bits of plastic here and there. We've got these really nice looking ear pads. If we can find a picture of them, they have a sort of a lip under the ear pad. So they're actually bigger on the inside than they are on the outside, which gives you more room for your ears, which is always a complaint when it comes to monitoring headphones. I mean, just take a look at the Audio-Technica range of monitors, for example, and the MDR 7506. They have these tiny, tiny pads on them, and they clamp really hard, obviously for noise isolation. Actually, Austrian Audio say that the noise isolation of these is absolutely fantastic. They said it's as good as it gets before you go into the territory of active noise cancelling. So they're pretty confident about that. In terms of spec, we're looking at a detachable cable. I'm not sure how many cables you get and what the attachment method is. Okay, so 118 dB SPL, which is super sensitive, and an impedance of 25 ohms. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. So you get a 3-meter detachable cable with a 3.5mm connector and a 6.35mm adapter. They don't say what the connector is at the headphone end anywhere, but it's detachable, so that's a start, right? The weight is 305 grams, which I think is a little bit on the bulky side for a professional monitoring headphone. But regardless, the headband looks nice and padded. So the build looks good. If the comfort is good, then all that's really left is to find out what the tuning is like, and I cannot wait to get my hands on a pair of these so I can find out what they're like. Pricing is expected to be around about £250, including VAT. So I imagine you're probably looking at a similar kind of figure for dollars as well. Anyway, that's a little look at some of the more interesting news that I saw coming back from NAMM, and I thought I would share it with you. Anyway, I'll be back with another video later on this week, and until then, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have a good one.